Hey, it's JP with Central Idaho Mountain Weather. It's February 25th, 2024. Looking at mostly sunny skies to start the day, and we'll have clouds kind of moving through as that front comes from the northwest down to the southeast. It's going to be pretty warm out there. Another sun or warm day in the 40s. Kind of feeling like April right now more than the end of February. And we're going to have winds starting to pick up today, mostly from the west, southwest. But tomorrow is kind of the big picture. We got a cold front coming through around the middle of the day, and that's going to bring lots of winds, snow rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour that are going to hammer down pretty quick. Highs are going to be in the mid 30s with wind gusts up to 60, and that's going to be mainly in the mountains at 10,000 feet. But down in the valley floor, we can see gusts up 30 to 40 miles per hour. It's going to be a fast and furious event, so it's going to be pretty quick hitter. And then we'll have temperatures dropping off into the upper 20s and low 30s for Tuesday, Wednesday before they ramp up again. And we'll have a little area of high pressure on Tuesday before our next storm system comes through and looks like a pretty long duration event. Looking at the satellite reel, we have this area of low pressure up in the Gulf of Alaska. That's what's going to come down tonight and mix up with this kind of warm air boundary that we have here, where we have the warmer air down in this direction and colder air here, and that's going to really drive the next events for tomorrow with that cold front. And looking at the winds for tomorrow, zoom in here a little bit for this area here. So you can see this afternoon they start picking up into the light blues. So it's going to be in the 40s. And then tomorrow, ahead of that cold front, we start getting into the greens. That's going to be approaching 50 miles per hour. And then a couple splotches of yellow there will be gusts up to 60. And those are going to be mostly to the Pioneers, and there was a little splotch that moved through in the Western Smokies. But either way, it's going to be a pretty windy event. And those winds are going to be west-southwest winds. All right, we'll look at the NAM first. Put this in motion. So you can see the storm starts to come through Sunday night. It's a little bit earlier on the NAM, and then we start getting that moisture coming through about early morning for Stanley, because this is coming from the northwest, and then more so around 9 to 10 time frame for the Wood River Valley. But you can see it's kind of fast and furious. It's like there and not and then gone. This band is the cold front band right here, and it'll be kind of over by midday, or I should say by late afternoon. Cold front will be through around midday. The HER forecast is not looking as potent as I was kind of hoping it. Storm doesn't really come through until 8 o'clock range for Stanley, and then moves through. And you can see it's significantly less moisture, but it's got some of those little orange speckles in there. Those are not going to really reach into our mountains. They'll be kind of hitting the western Smokies over into the Boise National Forest. So Moores Creek could be getting pretty good snow out of this. And then you can see that cold front's kind of through by the end of the day. Oops. All right. And looking at snowfall for tomorrow by the end of the day, Baldy's looking like they could pick up 6 inches. They're kind of on that boundary line. So you can kind of see maybe anything, I would say, from 4 to 6 inches for Baldy. And then looking up to Galena, about 12 inches, and then the Sawtooths are really where we're getting most of the snow, 12, basically 1 to 2 feet of snow in some places, all the way stretching up into Banner Summit. So good snowfall for the west and northern sections. They haven't seen that since really the beginning of the season. And then storm totals, Valley Floor is not going to get too much, 3 to maybe 6 inches up in Ketchum. Stanley is going to be getting more snow up there with this being northwest flow. And Galena, 8 to 12 inches. That's a little bit less than that last model we were looking at. So some differences in where those bigger bands of snow come through. And I also am wondering, since this is going to be kind of a fast cold front, if that they're a little unsure of those snowfall rates. If you kind of get that good blob of green or even yellow over your head, could be dumping 2 inches per hour, which would be change those numbers pretty dramatically. But the fastest rates are going to be anticipated between like the morning hours to around 1 o'clock when that front comes through. All right, looking at just some different models, getting a little bit more in the weeds here, but for those of you that have stuck around at this point, you get to see a little bit more of the differences we're seeing in the models. So this is for by Sunday night. So this moisture is already kind of coming in a little bit more ahead of what the models were claiming when this was going to start. But you can see those numbers really start to ramp up. This is looking at how much liquid we would get out of the storm. And I'm going to play this through till 5 p.m. tomorrow. So you can see almost 2 inches in places across the Sawtooth crest. Looks like kind of the Williams Bench Hut area can see some pretty insane numbers. This is the NAM forecast, so this can tend to be pretty juicy. This kind of goes out to 48 hours ahead. But we're looking at over 2 inches of water potential. Other places like this is where Sun Valley would fall into. Baldy looking about 8/10 of an inch over towards Galena Pass. It's kind of anywhere from 1/2 an inch to 3/4 of an inch. So kind of a little bit crazy with numbers there. And then let's see, this is looking at the MBM forecast, and this is, play this kind of through. This is for up until 5 p.m. for tomorrow. So this is kind of showing about the same thing. That's what we want to see. It's a little bit less in the Sawtooths, but probably more realistic to what we're going to see tomorrow. So good inch, 1.5 inches in places. It's going to be a lot of water putting on top of some layers that we haven't seen react in a while in the Sawtooths, and also spinning a lot of wind on top of that. So make sure you pay attention to the Sawtooth Avalanche Center tomorrow with their latest updates on snowfall. All right. If you hung in with me this long, we'll take a look at the next system coming through. Let me open up a couple other tools. All right, so let's play this back into motion from the beginning. We got this closed off low here. This is what's going to be bringing our snowfall for today is this system here. So this is going to be pretty much a trough with a cold front that's going to be coming through, just mixing with that warm cold air. That'll be a pretty quick hitter, but then we want to direct our attention to this area of low pressure here that's going to work its way down towards us in the direction of setting up with some southwest flow. So let's put this into play. Slides down the coast here. You can see it really starts to set up with that southwest flow. So we got that area of low pressure here and driving in all of this moisture right across us. And this is going to last for 2 to 3 days as this kind of comes through. And this is kind of getting towards the end of fantasy land, I'll say, before it's 5 days out and we don't really have too much buy-in for it, but it's looking pretty good with this next storm system. It's definitely going to be more of a impactful system than what's coming through today. Today's going to be a real quick hitter. This actually has an area of low pressure with it. Let's back this up a little bit so you can see that. This has that area of low pressure with it, so with that it's going to just be a longer duration event, and we got that moist southwest air being inserted to it too, and that just kind of sets us up for a better weather pattern. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be a busy tomorrow's going to be busy, and then the rest of the week's going to be pretty busy.